What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you some announcement highlights from Warhammer Skulls 2025, which is the Warhammer event of the year that basically goes over all of the announcements and things they have planned for video games. And while my primary interest was the CRPGs by Owlcat, of course, as I'm sure many people know, in preparation to get ready for Rogue Trader, their first one, I found myself playing a whole lot of Warhammer games, and now, to be honest, this showcase is just of interest to me, and I wanted to go over, of course, the big stuff. For the most part, not really covering things like the mobile game announcements, because those just don't matter to me, but otherwise, we've got a lot to talk about. Kicking it off, of course, with Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy, as well as the second sort of round of DLC upcoming for Rogue Trader. So, Dark Heresy is Owlcat Games' next CRPG, taking place in the Dark Heresy tabletop adaptation that uses more or less the same rule set as Rogue Trader did, and should be an evolution of that. If you want to learn more about it, I actually made a dedicated video about that yesterday, covering the initial details, as I'm most excited for that one, to be sure. Now, Rogue Trader, as I mentioned, is getting that extra round of DLC, but we also got a release date for the upcoming Lex Imperialis DLC, which is June 24th, which promises to bring some big additions to the game I've also discussed elsewhere. Now, in this Season Pass 2 of DLC for Rogue Trader, it looks like we're going to be exploring a Necron vault, and then the last one is going to be bringing us to a sort of ship graveyard called the Processional of the Damned, which I think is interesting at face value, to be sure, and they're already off to a strong start with Void Shadows, so I think as long as they continue in that vein, it's bound to be a success at the end of the day. Moving along, though, we then got the announcement for Total War Warhammer 3, announcing some stuff like new units, gameplay mechanics, and the addition of some things to the Immortal Empires campaign mode. But it looks like the big thing here was actually the announcement of a Tides of Torment DLC that is supposed to be out later this summer. Blood Bowl 3 also got an additional season, which is launching on June 10th, that is going to add a new faction. I don't plan on playing that one, I just think Blood Bowl is really, really funny, so wanted to shout it out. Some news for Warhammer 40k Boltgun, though. So Boltgun is a really fantastic boomer shooter that I had a lot of fun playing, and there's actually two things to know here. For starters, they're introducing a weird spin-off called Words for Vengeance, or Words of Vengeance, something like that, where effectively you have to type in the words you see on screen as enemies appear to destroy them, in a version of those old typing games I used to see when I was in school. Don't know if those are still a thing or not. That is free. You can just have fun with that, or maybe help someone learn to type, I suppose. But the bigger news there is that they announced Warhammer 40k Boltgun 2. Aiming for a 2026 release, it of course brings our main character, Malum Cato, back, this time fighting a brand new threat that, from what I understand, takes place right after the first one, so it does continue that storyline. We also got some news for Mechanicus 2. So this was mostly a little showcase showing off some new gameplay and updates or anything, no big earth-shattering information here. Mechanicus, though, is a TRPG, if you are unaware, that puts us in the role of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and 2, I think, is going to take the really solid foundations of the first game and build out more interesting scenarios against the Necrons, and already they've shown big graphical improvements for sure, but also different environments and things we haven't seen previously, and even a little bit of things like UI menus, showing off some of the options. Still a little too early to say too much on that front, though. Next up, Vermintide 2 is bringing an end to the Verminous Dreams campaign with a free update that I believe is also intended to bring some quality of life changes, things like that. So if you enjoy that particular game, looks like there will be some new stuff for you. The sort of Twisted Metal spin-off type game Speed Freaks, that puts us in the role of orcs battling it out in this combat racing game, will be hitting its 1.0 launch. This was in early access previously, from what I understand, and it seems like the kind of thing that if you enjoyed the old Twisted Metal games, you'd probably enjoy this, but admittedly not a huge racing guy myself. Darktide, taking a note from Owlcat Games, it would seem, is releasing the Adeptus Arbites class that will release alongside an update aiming to improve things like difficulty and progression, stuff like that, but that's launching on June 23rd, so more content there if you liked that game. We also got some Space Marine news, quite a bit of it actually. If you're unaware, Space Marine 3 is in development these days, but it looks like a free update coming June 26th will add Siege mode and Endless Horde mode with you and 2 other players, so up to 3, where the goal is to just last as long as you possibly can against endless waves of Tyranid and Chaos enemies. looking forward to that. But we also have some Space Marine 1 news, as it turns out. The original is actually getting a big upgrade called the Master Crafted Edition, which seems to be like a remaster almost, that is going to be launching on June 10th for PC and Xbox. Looks like this is going to overhaul the graphics, of course, but also the interface, audio, and even the controls to some extent. So I think in the wake of the success of Space Marine 2, they decided to go back and give that a sort of refresh given its recent popularity, which I think makes sense in that context. But speaking of remasters, it looks like the original Dawn of War is also getting some love. So again, 4K support, better textures, improved lighting, better camera, UI, 64-bit support even, so that should also be out sometime later this year for everybody, if that's your cup of tea. Dawn of War is like a popular strategy game for Warhammer that, from what I understand, was pretty well received. I haven't played it personally, but I just thought the announcement was neat. Now, that is pretty much going to do it for the sake of this video. In terms of things I did not cover, it was, again, mostly mobile games and also a lot of the card game stuff, so believe it or not, there was even more than this. So all in all, I would say it was a very big event for them. And I'm honestly excited to play quite a bit of this for myself, namely Dark Heresy, the Rogue Trader DLC, Boltgun 2, Mechanicus 2, might even very well double back and check out that update for Space Marine 2 as well. But as for today, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this video. I certainly hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.